hindi. I think the temptation po that comes with the series of Jumpstart 2021 is you want to change everything all at the same time, right? You can't do that po, right? It's not sustainable. And what's important po for us to understand is one thing today. One. And what I want to ask us, Village po, is to think about one thing. One distracting pursuit, or one destructive habit, or one dangerous practice, or one toxic relationship. We're going to call this your stop and drop. What is my one stop and drop? What is the one thing that God is asking me to stop and drop so that I can run my race unhindered? Now, I'm not going to ask you to put it in the chat box this time, okay? Because it's going to get ugly in the chat box. Baka mag-away kayo, maybe your spouse will say something, and then why did you put it in the chat box? So I'm not going to ask you to put it in the chat box, okay? But Village, I want you to seriously answer that question. What is my one stop and drop? If you're courageous enough, write it down somewhere. Write it in your phone. So really, take out your phone. Maybe you're holding it right now. Hopefully not. You're paying attention for, right? Take out your phone. Bring out your notebook. Write it down. Have the courage to name it and to acknowledge this is the extra weight that I've been carrying, and it's keeping me from running my race unhindered. Now, according to James Clear, most of our bad habits are caused by two things: stress and boredom. Okay? Stress and boredom. Whether your habits is biting your nails, overspending on a shopping spree. Maybe you're the type of person that you find energy and excitement gossiping about other people behind their backs. That's a sickness po, right? That's our sickness. Gossip. Maybe your bad habit is doom scrolling through social media. I told my sister I have this new app called Rescue Time on my phone, and it doesn't just record the amount of time that I'm on my phone, it records the number of times I pick my phone up. Yesterday, sabi ko, dude, I wasn't anchored. I think I didn't pick it up as much, but I think it recorded about 80 times. I picked up my phone 80 times yesterday. I was like, you don't even realize how many times you're picking up your smartphone. Maybe for some of us, what God is asking us to stop are paralyzing or numbing activities. Perhaps for some of us, it's drinking until you're wasted, wasting time on the internet. For some of us here, it's watching pornography. I was talking to a school friend, and this is what he mentioned to me. He said, if there's one thing that I'm thankful to God that He's given me the strength to quit cold turkey, it's pornography. Because I knew it was messing with my mental health. It was messing with my understanding of so many things. And maybe for some of you who are watching, that's your destructive habit. Perhaps for some of us here, it's anger, temper, yelling hurtful words to your spouse mid-conflict. Maybe it's getting that dopamine kick or getting high on the weekend. Maybe for some of us, it's become a knee-jerk reaction for us to be judgmental and condescending, or other expressions and forms of pride and arrogance. Whatever that might be for you, they're all different and potentially destructive ways that we find ourselves responding to stress and boredom, providing us with ways to escape rather than engage life. And if we are honest with ourselves, these experiences of stress and boredom, on the surface level, is actually an indicator of a much deeper issue. And every weight that slows us down, that phrase, every weight, can mean so many different things for each of us. Perhaps the weight for you is the weight of distractions that are neither harmful nor helpful. Maybe the weight for you is the weight of pursuits that you know could be easily avoided if you only chose not to put yourself in that compromising situation. And yet you know that as much as you wanted to point fingers, you made that decision to be there in that compromising environment. Or maybe the weight for us is the weight of settling for the good that essentially keeps us from the great. That's why a question po I'd like to ask us is this: is there a belief, a fear, an experience that is causing you to hold on to something that is essentially holding you back? Isn't that crazy po? How we hold on to things that end up holding us back. And I hope po you're keeping that one thing in mind, because it's important po that when we hear and we listen and we feel that nudge of God, right? You know, in those moments where you're listening to a message, or maybe for those of us who attended Anchored, you know that it was God's voice speaking to you. You could deny all you want, but there are moments in which God is so intimate and close to us, and He tells us, "Anak, tama na." There are moments in which He says, if you do not stop this, it will stop you. There are moments in which He nudges our hearts and He says, it will cost you your family. It will cost you your relationship with your spouse. Your temper problem will cost you your relationship with your children. All these little habits that are maybe seemingly little, right? I always remember this and remind myself that little things are not little, because little things that are done on a daily basis eventually become big things. And one day, magugulat lang po tayo that we find ourselves in this situation, not realizing or not having the courage to acknowledge that it was my choices that got me here. It was not just my decisions to start something new, but it was also my choice. This stops today. Now, there's an emphasis that is placed on a specific kind of weight that slows us down. Here in Hebrews 12, verse 1, sin is highlighted. Let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. In the NIV version, it says, the sin that so easily entangles. In the Good News translation, it says, the sin which holds on to us so tightly. Now, I know for a lot of us, sin is such an off-putting and unpleasant word to so many people. But there is nothing like sin that separates us from God, that steals and drains the life out of us. And in the words of John Ortberg, there is nothing like sin that hinders the flow of the Holy Spirit in your life.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. Also, in the description box below, we have discussion questions for you to share with a friend, or visit our website at pinnaclevillage.org. Catch us live every Sunday at 10 a.m. We hope to see you there.